Edward Said, on a personal level, was a charming man. This was shown through his speeches and through his writings. This expressed his personal feelings. He was well driven, and he was noticed by his friends how dedicated he was with his work. His love for music made a part in him that led him to be well known with the piano. In his heart, he had a special place for classical music. He had a sense of humor which made him approachable to others and welcoming. Towards his family, he grew love and strength to build a foundation to grow with his personal life and professional life. Knowing Edward on a professional level was similar to a personal level. He was a strong thinker which helped support his work Orientalism in 1978. The work that was put out by him would influence others, which was mainly through the Palestinian cause. The students that were among him absorbed the information he put out through his lectures and writing due to him being persuasive. He would promote justice through Palestinian rights. Edward would be determined for setting goals for himself and his team. He would influence others to work hard and reach their goals. Due to his work and the way he carried himself, he was well respected among others.
On this slide, we are going to talk about the academic contributions and post-colonial studies that Edward Said contributed in. First off is Orientalism, which is a book he wrote in 1978. He critically examined how the West constructed the Orient as exotic, backward, and even inferior, a dynamic that parallels the racialized narratives imposed on Asian Americans. His work highlighted how such misrepresentations were not just academic, but also deeply tied to structures of power and colonialism, which influenced immigration policies, exclusion laws, and cultural perceptions of Asian Americans. So his ideas provided a framework for Asian American scholars to critique and deconstruct stereotypes such as the model minority and the myth of Asian cultures. So on this next slide, we talk about his political activism. He was an outspoken advocate for Palestinian rights and the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. You can see the rest of the information on this slide, but Said's emphasis on the importance of reclaiming narratives and challenging hegemonic cultural representations resonated with the Asian American movement, which sought to counteract marginalization and assert a distinct identity for themselves. And his work in this encouraged a broader understanding of how Asian American experiences are shaped by both local and transnational forces, such as imperialism and global migration. So on this next slide, I wanted to include more of his notable publications. And I feel like these publications are really, you can really see how everything that he stood for and everything that he did along his life resonate with each and every one of these books. From his autobiography that reflects on his identity as someone straddling Eastern and Western traditions to how the media and people see the rest of the world, which this is more concentrated on Islam culture. So yeah, I believe these books really resonated with what he did. His words correlated with his actions.
Edward Said has made significant contributions to our understanding of the Asian American experience, particularly through his critical theories on representation, power, and cultural identity, which these resonate deeply within Asian American studies. He matters in this field due to decoding stereotypes and representation, critiquing of power and imperialism, empowering marginalized narratives. Edwards said matters deeply and is significant to Asian American culture because of his concept of Orientalism. It exposes how Western cultures often misrepresent and stereotype Eastern cultures, including Asian cultures, through biased and often harmful depictions, which has allowed Asian Americans to critically analyze and challenge these stereotypes in their own representation and identity formation, essentially giving them the tools to reclaim their narratives from the colonial perspective. Sed's critique of Orientalism has central work. Orientalism argues that Western societies construct a false and often demeaning image of the Orient, which means Eastern cultures, which serves to justify colonial power dynamics impacting how Asian cultures are perceived in the Midwest.